A tissue is a collection of similar cells that carry out a specific function. Tissues grouped together then form an organ. All of the tissues within the human body can be classified into 4 basic types. The 4 basic types of tissue found within the human body are epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. Epithelial tissue covers the body's surfaces and lines hollow organs, body cavities, and ducts. Connective tissue protects and supports the body and its organs. Muscular tissue is composed of cells specialised for contraction and the generation of force. Muscular tissue also generates heat and warms the body through shivering. Nervous tissue detects change in a variety of conditions, both inside and outside of the body, and responds by generating electrical signals, which we call action potentials. But focusing on connective tissue, and connective tissue is one of the most abundant and widely distributed tissues in the body. Connective tissue is the tissue that connects or separates and supports all of the other types of tissues. Like all tissue types, it's made up of cells surrounded by a fluid, which we call the extracellular matrix. However, compared to other types of tissues, the cells are more loosely packed together rather than tightly sitting just next to each other, which allows greater variation in what connective tissue actually looks like and what it does. So to give you some examples, blood is a type of connective tissue. It's obviously in a fluid form, and it functions to transport nutrients and wastes, and it contains white blood cells, which make up a large part of our body's immune response. Bone is another type of connective tissue, and we have compact bone, which is harder and thicker and is used for protection. For example, the skull protects the brain underneath. And then we have spongy bone, which is lighter, and it produces red bone marrow. Cartilage is a form of connective tissue which has many subtypes. We have hyaline cartilage, which covers the ends of the bones to reduce friction. Fibrocartilage, which is more dense and it makes up the intervertebral discs between the vertebra in our spine. And elastic cartilage, which forms the structure of the external part of our ears. Lastly, we have connective tissue proper, which can be adipose tissue or fat, which we can use to store energy. Dense regular connective tissue, which makes up our ligaments and our tendons, which hold bone to bone and muscle to bone respectively. We can have areolar connective tissue, which holds organs in place and attaches our epithelial tissue to underlying tissues. And then also reticular connective tissue, which forms the scaffolding or the structural support for our organs and soft tissues like lymph nodes. So you can see that connective tissue comes in many forms and it's found in many places, giving it many different functions. However, in general, the role of connective tissue is to connect, separate, and support the other tissues of the body.